And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're at in the world. It could be any one of the 180 countries that we have touched in the past through our various platforms. I am so grateful that you're here. I'm just so incredibly pumped. This is the first moments of the first thing, so we got past our first 7 seconds, and we're moving into it. I'm so grateful to be returning. Yeah, I've got notes because people tell I need notes. Glad to be returning and committed to a show, a daily show. 2006 26 is my goal to create 365 daily shows. Means one show every day. Some will be recorded, some will be live. We start out live. I have a recording of Marty Mullenax. It was a great interview, so I'm so pumped to have it. And then this will be processed through our various systems to create a much more focused out there for the system. Now, what is in it for you to watch Ed the Pagan show? First of all, thank you. I've been at this for more than 30 years, um, starting with the Psychic Chicago Radio all the way up to Pagan World to Pagan Tonight Radio to today Ed the Pagan Show. And Ed the Pagan Show is based on a simple premise. We're all being watched all the time. We're in a reality show. We know we're in the Truman Show. We just don't care that we're not Truman. The majority of us know it. And we live in our lives to having so much fun, so much excitement, and so much to do. I ask questions on my Facebook page, and part of the show will be about answering Facebook questions. And you can ask me questions here as I do things. So, one of the most important things to know is that I have committed to 365 days of podcasting and other pieces of material. I think right now we need to ask a lot of questions about ourselves. As you know, on my page, I ask some very deep questions, and I get very good answers. Um, and I'm not going to say smart people are answering them, though I have geniuses and accomplished people, but people who have a basic understanding of our reality and our world uh, in different ways. I have such a diverse audience on my Facebook pages over the last couple of years that I really enjoy it. But now we're going to start asking the next question. What's the future like? Why am I committing to such a detailed period? Isn't it like you're going to be on forever? No, sometimes a story can be told in a year. And this year it's an exploratory year. And who knows what happens in 2027? I'm not looking that far ahead. So one of the things I'm going to do is be doing interviews. I'm going to do over 1,000 interviews. And I'm going to bring my first one to you shortly. But if you want to be on one of my interviews, you can write me at edthepagan@gmail.com. Probably the easiest, fastest way. You can also Facebook me. Other communications. So Ed the Pagan is, after all, a media creation. Um, I happen to play the role of Ed the Pagan, but he is a media creation in and of himself. Most of his existence is in the internet, as you can see from my background. And I think he's now entering to his age over the next year as I develop that voice. But here we go. We love to have interviews. We talk about community. I have over 6,000 hours of interviews that I've done or have encouraged people to do to their network. So why do you want to watch this show? Because it'll help you network to wherever you want in the community. It's kind of a pagan world. So where do you want to network into? Do you want to earn more money? I know people who want to earn more money. We're going to talk to them. We're going to have a lot of talk conversations with them. Uh, so if you want to build your group or you want to have figure out how to make uh, a difference, such as food pantries, mutual aid societies, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about because we have to have these deeper questions. But right now, I am going to try to bring up this wonderful piece. Let's see if I can do this easily. There we go. Press play. Hi, and we're back on the Reverend Don and Ed show. We're still getting used to kind of being there. So, as people know, me and Don have not done many shows together. He's been my guest or I've been his guest, but we share the same network. Now we're going to combine some of our efforts, but occasionally we're going to do our interviews separately and of people that we find fascinating and interesting. And in this case, it is Marty Mullenax. And he's been talking, and he's a young person. You've seen his thing, Bull and Thorn.
Yes.
And that's absolutely, and some people know that I sent out invites about maybe about a month and a half ago to kind of support this. And so we're going to talk to him. So, what is Marty Mullenax in the community?
Um, God, I wear many hats, a lot
Don't
of
we
them.
all?
Um, I'm first and foremost an Appalachian folk witch. I live in Western Maryland. Um, I run a locally ran coven that has recently started, the Coven of Woodbine. As you mentioned before, I'm a online shop owner at bullandthorn.com. Um, we run a recovery program, recovery through nature. So, I mean, I have a lot of hats. I do a lot of things.
Absolutely. That's interesting. So you're doing the online stuff. You're running a recovery program because I get asked about that a lot. Recovery through nature. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So recovery through nature was kind of my husband's and mine's little brain project slash love child. We kind of got really tired of a lot of our friends overdosing in the community and not reaching out for help. And part of the reason that people don't reach out for help, at least here in the mountains, where it's kind of small town, small mind, is because everything is ran by churches and organizations that tell you to seek a higher power, but you can't believe that the tree is a higher power or something like that. So these people don't seek recovery. And we wanted to create kind of a recovery program where you could see the tree as your higher power. You could believe that nature is something greater than you and it be something that you can give yourself over to and, find your recovery in, because part of that is accountability. And there's no better place to find that than in nature.
Well, that's wonderful. But I've always rejected because I've always argued I'm a guyist, and
Hmm.
which means is Gaia is all the God I'll ever know.
Hmm.
I mean, whatever way it turns, everything is my experience, and same for you.
Yeah.
All I'll ever know, the greatest God I'll ever know is nature. Maybe something else will come along later, but today,
But but today and probably tomorrow and a year, a month, 20 years from now.
a million years from now.
Hmm.
I mean, that's the whole thing. We're this. It is interesting that, and science has been really backing this up, saying that being involved with nature and all of the byproducts, because that's how science talks,
Hmm.
of being in a balanced ecosystem does balance the human being.
Yeah.
So, are you guys have land that you're doing it? Are you doing it at parks? Are you doing
Uh,
it?
so we have partnered with the parks programs locally. So we can go to different parks, different areas, and set up, have our meetings, stuff like that. And I mean, we do drum circles, we do sound healing circles. I own a handpan. Another one of our people that help with recovery through nature, Ashley, she has singing bowls that she brings. I have like 5 or 6 small hand drums that I own that I pass out. I've made rattles by hand out of walnut shells and hemp ropes so that people have things that they can play. And I mean, all of this stuff does key into helping the mind help the body get better. There's been
Mhm.
scientific proof on sound healing affecting the vagus nerve, which has allowed for bodily resets so that people can heal and understand and process and stuff like that. So we try to incorporate a lot of that stuff into our Nature Through Recovery program. On top of that, we do a lot of like little field trips.
Mhm.
One of the field trips that we did was to a Native American powwow where we watched them dance and stuff like that. Um, we've done trips out to our local state park at Rocky Gap where we have done like where we've swam in the lake and kind of had a picnic style like dinner, stuff like that. Like we try to really be involved with the people that we care about.
It sounds like a really wonderful and intensely local thing that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just for pagans, Wiccans, the magic practitioners, or
Oh,
is it
it
open?
it's for absolutely everyone. I have people who don't believe in God, but they like the aspect of finding a balance and a healing in nature. I have people that um, believe that, they just practice witchcraft and they're there because they don't want to go somewhere where it says that you have to believe in God in order to feel better. Like, mostly it's just alternative. Anyone is welcome to it. But I mean, like, it's centered towards people who want to find a natural path.
Terrific. And so let's go ahead and move on to the next part. That's
Yeah.
very exciting. I want to cover up more. People that are in our community, we want to start having these conversations. I think we need better conversation, and that's a great foundation. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Bullethorn is your online shop. What's the email address or URL? Or
It
can
is bullenthorn.com.
okay, really simple,
Yep.
and that's AND Bull
Yes.
AND
Dot.
Thorn.com.
Yep.
Okay, good, got that. And what is it that you're carrying there?
Oh, we have over 5,000 products. We offer services locally for anything from house cleansings to baby namings and wickenings, uh, pet funeral services, anything really. Like, we have opened up our doors to try and cover just about every service and every product that we can get our hands on to sell to people at an
Mhm.
affordable price. On top of that, we also want to connect to the local, well, greater community. Like, we want to be able to, if we find people out in Wisconsin and they don't know people to connect with, we want to be able to have a research list or just a list of names in general where people can go through and find shops, find people, find teachers that they can connect with and go learn from, or just find their communities.
So I find that fascinating because I've been trying to explain to people how did we connect in the 50s, 60s, 70s, the 80s when I came along, and it was through people
Yeah,
and the internet, and then for a little while, and I think it helped in so many ways, Witchbox and other these sort of directories, the Daily
yeah.
Spell and all that. But I also think they took something away from us that we have to rebuild. And I think that you're doing it. And that is, we're not so much out in the open that, everybody could find us.
Mm-hmm.
The recoil of why Witchbox failed, one of the things people don't talk about Witchbox failing that you're answering to is people who wanted to be out got too exposed. That
Mm-hmm.
Witchbox was as much a thing for our community, but it also became a thing for the right and for Christian
Mm-hmm.
Dominionists and for others to kind of cherry pick and find out what's in their communities. And that's why so many people didn't kind of, people got shied away from that. So,
No, uh, I try to write as many blogs as I can on histories and traditions on witchcraft so that people understand that it's not about one solid faith across the board. Pagans aren't just solely pagans, all believing in one separate thing. It's like Christianity. We have different sects, different beliefs, different ideals on it, and it's okay to have those. We're okay to have those, but we have to come to a foundational understanding. There
oh,
has to be.
sure.
How else are we going to be able to build things like churches and homeless centers and things like that? Like, there has to be a foundation behind it. Everything has a foundation, even if it's just basic concepts. We all believe in nature worship. We all believe in, using our bodies and our minds to help affect or change the world around us for greater or for worse. But there has to be basic concepts, basic ideals, because if we're constantly infighting over what a witch or what a pagan is, then we're not getting anywhere.
It's interesting to hear you say these things. I have not interviewed because You got to be at least 30 years younger than me. Uh, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And yet I'm hearing some of the words that were around from my contemporaries at the same time.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I
And
live in a rural area. God, we're 20 years behind here.
hmm
Like everything where I live is basically 20 years behind. We are
hmm
past here.
That's interesting. So in this community, so now you have the shop you're running, which
Mm,
helps out, that sort of things, and also providing all these services. And it gets back to one of the old ideas, there was a long time when the New Age really infiltrated hard into the world of the Wiccan pagan world. And one of the things they said is that, you're not supposed to charge for your services. And yet, historically, you go into all the stories, witches, pagans, those type of people, the shamans, they were mercenaries. They were
yeah,
witches for hire. I mean, that's how they made their living.
yes. You got
You
a
can
gold
go
piece
ahead.
for me? I'll work for you. Okay.
So go ahead and explain that a little bit. Since you've done a little bit of history, you look like you knew exactly what I'm talking about.
Um, First off, uh, I don't believe in the concept of things should be free.
hmm
Don't get me wrong. Yes, information, knowledge. I will gladly tell you resources on where to find books and things like that. Information should be free. But when it comes to spell work, tools, anything like that, I'm sorry. If I put my time into it, that is my time. That is my profession. I should be paid for the work that I do because it's not free for me to come across candles or incense. It's not free for me to find any of that. Why should it be free for me to do the work for you using those tools?
As any tradesman, any expert, any professional will tell you.
Mm
I'm fully agreed with that. So I found that very fascinating.
hmm.
Oh no, then my something just popped on my screen. I'm like, what the heck? And I just had to that sort of thing. Yes, folks, you're hearing that live. No, I'm in full agreement with you on
Hmm.
that. And I think one of the problems was there was old laws about fraud. Let's be honest. A lot of the
Yeah.
laws at the time of the formation of a lot of these practices in a more modern era
Hmm.
were faced with anti-fraud laws, anti-divination laws. And so in many states, you still have to put up a sign just beyond the state for entertainment purposes only if you do tarot card readings at psychic fair.
Hmm.
One of the things that pushed a lot of religious churches like yourself into being a religious church is the
Hmm.
protection necessary to conduct these things, to protect your practice as spiritual counseling.
Yes.
You couldn't just do it as an individual.
No.
And so you've kind of inherited that world. It sounds like you're building it up. So let me go ahead and I've got two more questions.
Yeah.
One, what is it that you think you need right now to do the work that you want to do? Or have
More
you
me.
got it? Hmm?
More me's.
More
If
me's?
if I could clone myself and my partner and the people who help me, yeah, more people to help.
When you say more me, what do you mean? More like you, or some people who are committed, or what is it that you like about yourself so much you like to have more of you around?
I mean, not me necessarily. What I mean by that is it's it's not about having me around to, do all this blah 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 and garner all of the attention. It's not like that. It's more me's to get more work done.
So more hands is what you mean.
More hands. More
More
hands
committed hands.
to help, more people to be there, and more people to just help in the community. I don't know how many people that are practitioners that are physically disabled and things like that, or have disabilities in general, and they need help. with things, just not in just in their life or in their spiritual practices, but like around their home, like stuff like that. We don't see a lot of people helping other people. And mostly here in Appalachia, it's because we're very private people. We don't like other people in our lives whatsoever.
Makes it difficult to get help.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a paradox across the entirety of pagan community. We are a community that has a lot of trauma in it because we've come out of other areas.
Yes.
Um, and so it very makes it very hard to trust. It makes it very hard to put that trauma aside or eat that trauma and kind of cure it.
Well, here it's a lot of abuse from the church. A lot of people have experienced abuse from the church, so therefore they leave the church and they don't want to be involved in it anymore. And they're trying to find something that they can believe in that isn't the church, so they move to paganism. But because of the abuse and all of the stuff that they went through in the church, they don't trust people in general, so then everything is skeptical and it's hard.
And it is hard. And I'm glad that you're working on it. It's going to take some time. So my
Mm-hmm.
last question for this interview, and we're going to do more. I think we're going to keep track of this. This is a part of the year. Um, what can the community do? The national community, the big group, whatever that nefarious mob, the cl pagan cloud, I call it these days. What can they do for you?
Reach into your smaller communities.
Hmm.
Reach into your rural areas and find your people there too.
Hmm.
Because if you're not, we're floundering there. We get bits and pieces of information through books and stuff that we read on the internet, and stuff that we read on the internet isn't always true. Sorry, hate to break some people's hearts, but the Facebook posts that you read about, leaving salt in water for some reason is going to do something extra. No, it's not. Sorry. I hate to tell you this. There is some information that is just faulty on the internet, and there is some information in books that is faulty too. I don't know how many authors I've come across that are talking about things like the I Ching, and they'll bring up Christianity in spell work, and why are you, where did this come from?
So we have entered an age that Carl Sagan talks about. Because we
Mm
had the same thing in my youth, when I was a teenager,
hmm.
wasn't
Mm
the internet, it was the end of the grocery line. And they had all of these little books. It had Sybil Leek and had all, and some of them were like great books
hmm.
that
Yeah.
go on to be classics, and some of them were just, the majority of them were just repetitive hog shit. Yeah.
Who published this? Why did they do this to me?
Right. But that was the end of the grocery line, along with World Weekly News, the
Yep.
internet before the internet with Bat Boy and I had all that stuff. And we'd have this sort of disinformation as well.
Mm hmm.
And they had little booklets and things like that. And I feel like the internet reopened that up. So reopened that disinformation level again. I feel like it narrowed in the 90s. We got really serious in some ways.
Yep.
When you were learning that there was more serious intent. Llewellyn went from being the McBook company, to more serious publishing. A lot of us become more of that. But I feel like the internet, TikTok, and things like that have opened up that easy nonsense that people wanted or that performative arts.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about that? Because you're living that.
Um, so the issue that I find is content creators that are not authentic in their work.
Hmm.
And it's mostly baby witches who have gotten into their stuff and think that after a couple of months of reading a couple of books and doing a couple of spells that they can suddenly just start posting content as if they're a high priestess.
There it is.
Uh,
And I've heard this all my life, right? And that there's a reason for this happening.
mm-hmm.
There is a reason. And you just guide it. There's not much in local. You get to read. You don't know what you don't know. So you think that you're an expert. Uh,
Yeah.
we have the same thing. And the very first pagans, Bonowitz and Sheeb and all that did exactly what you just said. They read, they studied, and they started to publish.
Yes.
We've never been a ready community,
No.
and we grow faster than we can build teachers.
Yes.
And so that's been, as people know, that's been my drive all of my life, and I'm about to start doing on is to keep building teachers because I've never ever been able to keep up ever. And you're an example of what was necessary. Hmm?
hmm
Um, so thank you for this. And again, where can people find you? What's the easiest one way to find you?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook most of the time. That's mostly where I'm at. But bullenthorn.com is our page that you can go to, that you can find all of our services, all of our products. Keep in mind that we're still rebuilding and remodeling. We've got a bunch of products that we still need to upload and redo. And so, I mean, it's a work in progress. We have blogs that you can read. Um, we're genuinely just trying to build.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, and we'll be back with Marty here, and I think he's got a lot to say. All right, thank you, folks,
All right.
and we'll be back. Yes. And here we go. Um, and I'm back. So yeah, that was the first part. And why am I not being shown? Okay, let's go ahead. There we go. I don't want to add meeting. I want to get back to my own show. Um, try this again. Huh. I'm going to remove that. There we go. And we're going to remove this one. All right, so we're back, willing, able to answer questions for you. One of the biggest things I'm doing is I'm committing to 365 days of daily broadcasts. Tomorrow, I have Janet Callahan on my show, and to talk about pagan press, pagan media, and other ideas out there. Plus, I'll be doing more. So that was interview one down of 1,000 I want to do this year. Why do I do this? It's because I really want to understand the pagan community, and I'm trying to understand how we have a future and how we use our abilities to build a future, to create a future. I'm a big believer you can predict the future by building it. And we've done a lot of that amazing work. If you've ever really wanted to do the work, there's a lot of people to help you, but it's hard to find them, aren't there? Marty is just one story that we've got out of potentially, well, I hope 1,000. So tomorrow I have Janet Callahan, and on Sunday I have Eric Cooper. John Beckett of Pathos will be on with us on Monday. And I have more to come out there. I have Mary Hawk. And if you really want to do something exciting, Mary Hawk and uh, Don Lewis are going to be doing tonight on Divination TV, Tarot Thursday, first of the year, doing live uh, tarot reading. So, yeah, go there, 9 p.m. Central, which would make it 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. in California. Really join them. They'll do that. They'll do some amazing work. This is the year of tarot. Okay. So one of the things I do is I ask a lot of questions, and I ask a lot of really difficult questions. And people get mad at me for people get really happy with me. I'm very protective of my Facebook page where I have a think tank going on. It's been going on since 2009, 2010 actually, January 1st, 2010. I began to see this as a place where I could get information and talk to the community. And I've been talking there ever since, and other places and experiments and things of that nature. And one of the things I learned about is the community does better when it has its own voice all along. In the 90s, and the way I got Ed the Pagan, as being part of the mainstream media, sending out press releases, trying to get into the newspapers, which is important. USA Today, Chicago Tribune, Chicago Sun Times, plenty more. Been front page news many times in the 90s throughout the early 2000s. Was our big thing is to be in the press. We did radio. terrestrial radio, to be honest, in Chicago called Psychic Chicago Radio. It was our first kind of broadcast. Blue Ones often marks that as one of those moments where we change things. Yeah. So it's always been very important that we've had media. And one of the reasons it's important for us to have media is a First Amendment right. And it's essentially this: the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the freedom to assemble, and all of those types of rules, but especially the ability to practice as you think, to have free thought. So the First Amendment really is the deeper idea of having free thought. And so we're going to explore that this year. What is free thought? If you're on my Facebook page, and I'll talk more about, I'll bring some of that up in shows. I certainly can tell you there are some amazing conversations that you can have. Erica was just mentioning down, I talk about the idea of somebody says some of the stuff out there is watered down witchcraft. Okay, I'm more than happy to say, yeah, there's some of it feels that way, but it's also becoming more accessible. The question is, what is it we want as goals as a community? So I'm going to leave with this thought. I'm going to be very clear. Um, why do we need to have great quality communications? Why is it important that we have a communication network that talks about each other? Tell me about the podcasts you have. Tell me about the shows that you have. We need to get together and converge together. It's called convergence in the next game to really kind of decide what we want to have as a community. And it's not done by centralization, but by decentralization and side by side cooperation, amplification, integration, execution. These are going to be a lot of the words we're going to use this year. And we're going to take this show as not just a show, but it's a beginning platform of where we can do better. The outcome I'm hoping for you at the end of this year is that you have a better quality of life, a better understanding of what it takes quality of life, and ways to achieve it. We're going to have Witch Starter, which is our Kickstarter aspect. Yeah, we have a lot of great things coming up. And it only happens is if you listen sometimes, share sometimes, but most importantly, that you want to share a reality with me, with people like me, with others that are in my community, and that we somehow can weed away to get a society. And so for me, the other part of this commitment of 1 year on this air is that watch May 4th, 2029, we want to be opening the Corellian campus in Danville. It's a very basic project. It's a very uh, simple, straightforward project. We say that with some hesitation because it is. We get there is going to be important because that's a 4 year plan. And why you heard about Reverend Don and Ed show early in some of these early interviews, that's where we thought we were going to go. But we decided I would do the Ed the Pagan show, and Don would begin doing a lot more work in other spaces. Uh, because after all, he's a modern day professor. I mean, people know him. I've got an interview with him. I think Saturday's his interview. I'll be posting them. So join me for deeper. Who do you want me to interview next? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be interviewed? EdThePagan at gmail.com or Facebook me or any number of ways to go out there. The biggest thing, how to set up the prices. For what? What prices? We'll have to find out. And it is, and if you really always want to do, I'm Facebook.com. I'm Ed the Pagan, but I'm also Ed A. Hubbard. I have some of the biggest conversations with some of the smartest people, some of the most in depth people, the wisest people, the most emotionally intelligent people. Intelligence is more than exists to talk about. All right, folks. Well, thank you on this, the first show, as we end. Blessings. And thank you for show one of 365. 2026 is off to a great start.